Welcome to Travel Talk with Travel with Eva. Hello, my name is Eva Jordan Johnson, and I am with Jordan Travel Enterprise, and I am a group travel event specialist. I help you to have group travel events that are easy, lucrative, and fun. I take the worry and stress out of group planning, handle all those things for you so that you can enjoy your clients, your guests, or your family in the case of a family reunion. So welcome. And I am also the author of Hosting Group Events in Paradise, the ultimate guide for coaches, trainers, and business leaders, which can be found on Amazon and also at hostinggroupevents.com, hostinggroupeventsimparadise.com. So, and I'll go over that with you again a little bit later in the show, but I want to take this moment to introduce you to Karen Quinn, a friend and colleague. And Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for inviting me, Eva. I'm a travel expert, and mainly I work with mature professionals, and these are people who are very busy, and they always wanted to travel and go someplace, and I mean, exotic destinations. The thing is, life got in the way, and they didn't get those trips. So now they're ready to go, except that now they don't want the stress. They don't want to take, the time to do all the components of planning. So what I do is I customize those trips. I work with them very carefully to talk with them and figure what is it they want to do. And then I take care of all the details. And all these people have to do is show up and have a good time.
All right.
So it's a rewarding thing to do. I love it.
Sounds wonderful. Now, today we are going to be talking about something, a question that many travelers have there. And that question is how to get through airport security faster. It's really challenging nowadays. And I want to share some of the issues that security lines at airports are getting longer and much longer. Wait times could reach epidemic levels when air travel peaks this summer, according to the airlines and reports and federal officials. And this is based on an article from the New York Times. And so it's going to be, they're predicting that it's going to be rough this summer with long lines. So if you have a flight, you really need to get to the airport early. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about. And Karen, why, share some of the problems with the airport and the security and getting through before we get into how you can solve that problem.
Okay. Well, one thing about, my mature professionals, when they travel, one thing they don't want is to start their trip with long waits in line and the stress of worrying about, are they going to make their flight? Because the TSA, the time that it takes to get through there. And so, this is one of the big issues for people. And it is, yes, it is the time in line, but there's also the hassle of security these days. And it's a reason why some people don't even, decide not to travel, because the hassle of, they know they're going to have to get there. They can only have certain things in their carry-on bag, and they are going to be, subjected to X-ray, and they don't want to do that. And taking your computer out of the bag and taking your shoes off. Men take their belts off, your coats. I mean, it's,
you feel like you're stripping at the airport.
Yes, and let me tell you, I have metal in my knee. So if you have anything about you that attracts attention like that, I always set off a metal detector. So then that means, you're going to stretch out and, they're going to get a full pat down. So that's not fun. That's not fun.
So what can travelers do out there if they are traveling and they're just concerned about these long lines and it gets very stressful? What can they do? How can we help them as travel experts?
Well, I think you hit on number one, which is get to the airport early. This thing of, people, I remember talking to a client and it was like 45 minutes before his flight, he wasn't at the airport.
Oh.
This does not fly anymore. A lot of flights are cut off. I mean, even domestic flights, 45 minutes ahead. So you're not getting on that plane. So do not even think about it. So you do have to get to the airport early. But beyond that, I really recommend for my clients, and in fact, I do a weekly electronic newsletter, and I often will write about how they can avoid this issue. And essentially, there are two programs. The key one that I'm recommending for anybody who travels abroad ever is called Global Entry. And Global Entry is basically it's a program started by the government that enables people to skip that line because they are pre-cleared. Think about it. Most of the people who are at the airport are not really a threat, right? 99% of the people aren't going to be any kind of terrorist, any kind of issue. So the security administration people said, well, all right, why don't we pre-clear those people? They'll do an application, we'll pre-clear them, and then when they get to the airport, we don't have to scrutinize them at the same level that we do the people we don't know. It's what we call the trusted traveler. And the difference, there are two programs. One is domestic, and that's what's called the TSA Precheck, and Transportation Security Administration.
So tell us what Precheck is.
All right, Precheck means they're going to pre-check you, check you out with an application. They're going to fingerprint you. I mean, really, the program is fairly extensive, which it should be, right? We want security, so that's not a bad thing. But you do have to take the time to do it. But the TSA Precheck is available to, you don't have to be traveling. There are no advantages in traveling abroad on that. What it does is get you through the line faster when you're checking in. When you add the Global Entry to it, it gives you all those TSA Precheck benefits, but what it does is add to it that element that when you are outside the US and you come back, now all you got to do is scan your passport, basically, put your thumbprint up there and, on the machine, and basically you go right through.
Before we go into a little bit more Global Entry, I want to talk about TSA Precheck. Now, you mentioned that you can apply for that and the process that is to apply, but sometimes you can get TSA Precheck randomly. When you travel, if you look at print out your boarding pass, you can look on there and look for that sign TSA Precheck. And so they're allowing you to experience what it would be like. They're giving you a taste of what it would be like so that you can show up at the airport. My airport is Orlando Airport, and the lines are getting longer and longer. There's people at the Orlando Airport from all over the world coming to the Central Florida attractions. And so the lines are really long on either side of the airport. So when you if you look at your boarding pass and you see that check in the TSA Precheck, it's like, woo! It feels like you won the lottery. So you can get on the short line. You don't have to take your shoes off. You can leave your laptop in the bag. There's a few things that you don't have to do, so you get through faster. But that's random. You're leaving it to choice. So what Karen has said is that you can sign up for TSA Precheck, but I just wanted to let you know that it is possible when you're traveling that if you check your boarding pass, you might be selected for TSA Precheck, but it's random. So now Karen's going to share with us about Global Entry.
Okay. Let me just comment one little thing. What you had to say. It was just a little more prevalent to be randomly selected previously than it is now. As time has gone on, it's not quite as likely. I know when I first signed up, The first time I printed a boarding pass, my husband was given, as you're saying, the TSA Precheck also, although he hadn't signed up. But that went away pretty quickly. I think he was only able to do that once or twice, and all the other times he has had to get in a long line, because it's only the person whose name there's, not you and your family or anything, just the person's like, I just want to clarify that. But yeah, if you luck out, then the point is, it's a sales point, right? Then they'll come back and say, oh yeah, I really want this. I don't want to wait in that long line. Global entry, I will tell you my experience with that. It gives you all the advantages of the pre-check. But when you come back to the US, that's where, I mean, it was much faster. And one thing that was new to me, I came back from Italy in the fall, and when we got there, a bunch of wide body planes had just landed, right? So, I mean, the airport was a zoo. It was full of people. And I didn't have to wait because I could use one of the machines. And so I just got through. When I go to baggage claim, again, a zoo there, people, all these turnstiles are busy and people grabbing bags. Well, when you go to exit that area, there must have been, you turn in your customs declaration, and there were big long lines, probably 6-7 lines going the whole length of the hallway. It's a huge hall. And I thought, oh no. And then I looked, and over to the right, it said global entry. So I went over to that line, and I was able to walk past absolutely all those people, turn in my form, take a second, and I was out that door. So, and I don't know if that's true in every single place that they have global entry, but I'm in Houston, and I was just so excited to see that in that area. So that was really worth it right there. If you come back on a flight and it's even late at night and you don't have to stand in line like that, what is that worth? A lot. So I don't know if you want me to explain anything else on that, Eva.
No, welcome, Mike, to the show. And feel free to put in if you have a question that you'd like to ask us as travel experts. We'd be happy to answer them. But so you explained why you should sign up for global entry. How do you get it started? How do you get global entry started?
How do you get started? Okay. It's actually quite easy. There's a website, and you go on the website. Now, if I can put those on the screen a little later if you want. But basically, you can easily do a search and put TSA Precheck, and it will bring up the website and tell you all about the program and how you apply. Same thing, global entry. Put that in, and it'll come up, and basically get your application. You have to fill out an application. Now, it's a number of pages. It's not, 5 easy questions. They're going to ask you where you've lived over the past number of years, and of course your citizenship, and I mean all your basic, all your information is going to be, out there. And some people, have an issue with doing that, but it does, because it does ask for a lot. Then you make an appointment. In my case, I filled mine out. It was like, this was several years ago, the Wednesday night right before Thanksgiving. Of all times, I was busy, but I took the time to do it. Well, I think the next Monday, I had received clearance to go ahead and make an appointment. You have to appear in person, and you have to show up, with your passport. I mean, it assumes a passport, and they will. And that the meeting took maybe 5 minutes, because really what they're going to do is make sure I'm who I say I am, and fingerprint me. And I went home, and then they send me a number. It is a number that you have, that is your global entry number. And that is what I do is I have it as part of my profile on my airline frequent flyer. And that way it always comes in there. If I'm flying on an airline that's not my frequent flyer, then I will have to manually put that in.
Karen, let's pause for a moment. We have a question. From Mike. He asked, are there any tips for surviving travel with kids? Taking a flight with my 22-month-old daughter soon, and I'm terrified. Any tips for traveling with kids?
You want me to? I'll start first. Okay, if you want. All right. You know what my daughter does, and when her kids are not so small anymore. But basically, what she did is she travels with a video player, and whether you've got a Kindle Fire, or you've got, you know, an iPod or iPad or something, and she gets movies that the kids like, and she has twins, so they have the you know, the headsets on. I'll plug into the same one. She has it set up so it can do that, and they watch a movie, and they get movies they like, you know, the ones that you know that they're going to keep them. Then she buys a little, oh, she has a little bag of small gifts, okay? And when things get, you know, boring or tense, she'll give them some kind of a gift, whether it's just something they will play with on the plane, whatever it is they like. If they like coloring, or they want to play with a car or whatever, she has that for them. Then she's got snacks. You know, she brings her own snacks to the kids, because, you know, you might not get anything on an airplane these days, and what you get might not be something they like.
Those are some great tips, and I like the fact that you said she has a bag with gifts, because if you bring things that they're used to playing with, you know, they're going to enjoy it for a minute. But if it's something new, and you said, "Oh, I have a surprise for you," and they get something new, even if it's just something small, that will, you know, help keep them engaged. And you at 22 months, you're going to need to bring your car seat, or I don't know. You'll need to bring your car seat with you, and Target, I noticed, and Walmart has those covers to kind of keep it clean while you travel, because it's going to kind of be all over the place. So hopefully that helps in terms of getting them ready. And you said it's a 4-hour flight. They should be fine. You know, they should be fine. Make sure the day before they're well rested, if you can, you know, and that they're, you know, they're ready to go. So hopefully that helps. Now, when you were talking about global entry, is that expensive?
It will seem like it up front. It can. Global entry is $100. But it's good.
Wow,
for 5
that's
years.
something. Now, I'm in the travel business, and I was thinking, I haven't done it. So as a result of this, I'm going to go ahead and get global entry. So I don't have, and that might be something for you, Mike, to consider. I don't know if you have time, but so you don't have to wait on those long lines, because with the little ones, they get, you know, anxious and trying to run away and play and, you know, do all these things. So if you can cut down on the wait times with your child, you know, that will be helpful, because it gets you through, you know, through TSA, through the long lines. So that would be helpful. And I didn't realize that the cost was for 5 years. I was thinking, oh, you know, that's 1 year.
Yeah. Yes, it's not per year, and the difference at TSA for the domestic is $85 for 5 years. So see, the difference is $15. It's very, very little if you're going to go abroad at all. Go for the global entry.
It sounds great. Can you put the link for the global entry in the chat, so that anybody who wants to check it out or consider it? So it's good. The global entry is good for your domestic travel and great for your international travel.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put that in there. If you want to go ahead, and then I'll just type those in both in there, and you have them.
Are there any other questions? And one of the things in the New York Times article said that and it gave the example at Charlotte Douglas International Airport in North Carolina, about 600 passengers missed their flight on March 25th because of an inadequate number of screeners. It led to wait lines exceeding 3 hours, and missing your flight can be, you know, a huge inconvenience and a huge stressor. So having that the pre-check, or really going all the way and getting the global entry, is a great time saver and a great way to reduce stress. What's an average expected security wait time? Mike is asking. it depends on the airport. Sometimes you can get through the security TSA checks like 15, 20 minutes. And then other times, it's an hour. And lately for the Orlando airport, it's really been, the lines have really been long. And so it's extremely important to get to the airport, 2 hours or more, depending on which city. Now, the smaller cities, like recently I went through Richmond Airport, you don't have as many people. So you have to, consider peak times. What time is your flight and what city are you in? So, Karen, did you have a comment?
Yes, let me make a comment too that the TSA Precheck and global entry are gaining more widely, or they're more widely available in various airports, but they still are not available just everywhere. And as you're mentioning, when you have a smaller airport, for example, like Hilton Head, where they're just flying small planes in there anyway. At least last time I was at Hilton Head, they did not have it, the pre-check there. It's a little bit of a nuisance, but I understand that with a smaller airport. But all the major airports do have it. And let me say that airlines have to opt into it, and all the major airlines do. And when you go and look at the websites I put up, they will say which ones, and it's all the major ones you would be taking. But as I learned, Spirit Airlines, for example, does not subscribe to TSA Precheck, so that means it won't appear regardless. There's no place to put your number in when you're on Spirit Airlines, and it will not show at the top. And even though you may be card carrying, trusted traveler, if it doesn't say TSA Precheck on your boarding pass, they're not letting you in that line. So if you're flying, and I don't know what other airlines would be, I just know that that's true of Spirit, they don't opt in. But all of your big ones, even Southwest and American and United and Delta, and all the biggies definitely are opt in and make it available for their passengers.
Okay. That sounds great. So we are trying to get you ready. Summer is coming. It's a high travel season, whether you're traveling domestically or internationally. The TSA Precheck and global entry is something definite that you want to try. And Karen, will you share your website?
Yeah, we put it in the chat box here.
So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, you work with mature travelers, they would be able to get in touch with you. And Mike, it's going to be okay. You're going to be well prepared and think positive so you can have a wonderful trip, and things will go well with your child traveling. He says fingers crossed. Yeah. But you got some tips now, and it should work out pretty good. And do you have any other questions? And Karen, do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think that the strongest thing is just to get to that airport early. And let me make a comment that if you don't have these programs and maybe they're not available at the airport where you are, at least read the rules as to what you can take on. What can I put in my carry-on? There are limitations for liquids and things. And what is tying up the lines quite often is people who don't understand those rules. And someone who gets on with, of all things, shampoo and conditioner bottles that would last a year. These great big bottles, and so then they've got to stop the line, right? Because they're seeing this in their carry-on and take it out and go through the whole thing. And I mean, it slows it down for everybody. So at least be aware of the rules of what you can take in your carry-on, so you're not holding up others behind.
Yeah, and that TSA, I believe it's a TSA website, does show, especially for children, like if you have to take at 22 months, I don't think you need a bottle, but some things that you want to take to make sure that it's approved. And when I read through that, since my children are older, my sons are grown-ups, there are some things for that they do approve for babies, infants, and children that they will allow. So check that website so that you can be ready. And one thing that I found that's been good when you travel, hydrate. I don't want you want to hydrate, but so you can when you get to the airport, before you go through the checkpoint, empty out your bottle. It's a money saver too. Empty your bottle. Go through with the empty bottle. When you get on the other side, you can always use the water fountain to fill it up, to get it to have something to drink and not pay $3 or $4 for a dollar bottle of water. So I want to share a free gift with you. I have a travel checklist for international travel and also for domestic, and it has some tips, and it might be helpful for you when you're traveling to kind of go through and see the things on the checklist that might help you get ready for your trip. And you can find that free gift at checklist.travelwitheva.com, and I'll put it in the chat. It's checklist.travelwitheva.com, and you can get that checklist, and they'll help you as you travel. It also will add you to my newsletter, where I give travel tips and information to help you travel better and for things to go smooth. All right. Well, we'll close out. Let me put that in here. And Karen, any closing remarks?
I just want to thank you so much, Eva, for giving me the opportunity. I always enjoy sharing this information because I know that it's going to make the travel experience a more positive one for everyone who travels.
I'm putting in that website there. And oops. Okay. Well, thanks everyone, and thanks to the replay viewers. It was a pleasure. And check back. We will be doing another show soon with Travel Talk. We'll be talking about group travel, and also we have an upcoming. We have some other upcoming ones that are coming in the pike. So you want to check back with us. And thank you so much. Have a blessed day. And I would like to tell you to also take time to be a blessing to someone else. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Thanks, Bye-bye. Karen.
Thank you, Eva.